Ladies and gentlemen, it's 10 a.m. It's Tuesday the 13th of No Nut November. Woo! Almost 2 weeks into this motherfucker. Well, that's my No Nut November over. All bets are off. This spicy little number, as if you didn't know. Skyhook by Man of the Hour, Insideinfo. A rascal little bit off a Breed 12 inches from way back when. Only a cheeky 10 years ago. Lovely stuff. Ladies, gentlemen, humans, all people, all individuals, all people of all species, of all alien races, every member of the universe, welcome to Coffee and Memes on Threshold.fm on this fine winter, autumn, summer, spring morning, depending on whether or not you consider the seasons to be merely socially constructed. Maybe they're a tool of patriarchal oppression. Who knows? Who bloody knows? Not me. I do my best to console myself with many things, with, getting out there trying to live right, but at the same time, trying to live a little bit wrong every now and again. Balance the scales. Try and do right by my fellow brothers and sisters, do right by my fellow lobsters.
Lobsters.
Yep.
Lobsters.
Yep, that's it. One more time. Lovely stuff. There was a nice lobster costume that someone posted in the lobster group, which I'm thinking of buying. I cannot think of anything better to spend the Patreon money on. I'll just pay for the running of the station out of my own pocket. That's no problem at all. And I think, unless anyone objects to me doing the show in a lobster costume, I think that's probably going to be top of the list, top of my Amazon wish list. Do you remember? I don't know if this is still a thing. It probably still is a thing. But girls on Twitter used to have in their little bio bits Amazon wish lists, and you could go on and buy them stuff. Well, so I'm told. So a friend of mine told me. Maybe I'll start one of those. Maybe I'll post a few nudes, on Twitter, see how it goes. Never know. Anyway, welcome to Coffee and Memes.
Steady job and a couple extra potatoes. That's all I want.
You're getting on. You're pushing 30, Slugger. It's time to think about getting some ambition.
Oh. I always figured I'd live a little bit longer without it.
Don't forget, kid, that what you're trying to do here is to be bright and chipper and entertaining and intelligent and sort of glitzy, and that's funny, and it's kind of cool, and it's interesting, and it's edgy, and all of that. It puts that facade of momentary charisma on you, and if you don't play that out, you actually fail.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Threshold.fm. Welcome to Coffee and Memes. A fine bunch of humans in the chat. I can see them now. Decent, honest, God-fearing humans just out for a better way of life. A better quality of morning radio. A better quality of bean in their cup. A better quality of pinger in their belly. Can't ask for more than that. We will have Inside Info on the show any minute now. Literally, well, it could be now. No, I'm going to do one news story, then I'm going to play this bit that he's made with Kazra that is choice, and we'll get him on. Yeah, right, come on, let's get stuck straight into it. Man almost has his balls blown off when e-cig exploded in his pocket. I can't say I didn't warn you. I can't say I didn't warn you. I mean, the only thing I'm slightly startled by is that he's not wearing a plaid shirt and he doesn't have a beard. I thought that was the exclusive uniform of the vapist. A man has been left in agony after his e-cig burnt through his pocket and then the explosion almost blew his balls off. Dad of 3, Darren Wilson, needed skin grafts to his crotch after the device burst into flame and leaked battery acid all over his privates. Fuck that for a game of soldiers, I'll tell you. Jesus wept. Do you think there's going to be a trade now in sort of, I don't know, like maybe a sort of case for your rig made out of that stuff they make black boxes for airplanes out of? Because ain't nothing getting through that shit. The 37-year-old is in so much pain he has to take morphine just to go to the toilet or wash himself. I bet there's a picture here. It is riggedy rough. Should we get that up? Is this going to be a thing? Where are we? Window capture. Come on. No, look, just let's be nice here. Thank you. Here he is. Oh, good Lord. Bless him, poor soul. Must have been a big old rig. So, some honking big old rig, the sort of one that you could, I don't know, beat an intruder to death with and then, blow a nice strawberry vape stream right into his chops. Where are we? He said, I've been refurbishing the house. I was stood by a kitchen door, and the next thing I knew, I thought someone had thrown like firework in the doorway or something. Looked down, my pocket was going off like a banger. I thought, shite, me vape, me beautiful vape. It was fizzing and sparkling, and smoke's coming out of it in that lake. I was wearing my work pants, and I tried to get it out, but it burnt me bollocks, and my left leg, I can't walk. It does seem rubbish, doesn't it? Owie. Look at him, poor sap. Poor soul. Poor bless him. Bless him, poor soul. Poor little lamb. Poor little lamb. He got a hurty wing. Oh, well, that's a leg, isn't it? Well, fine. Same thing. Right, look, okay, that's enough of this nonsense. Let's get this bit on. So, yeah, this is Inside Info and Kazra under the name Circuits. It's their remix of Spectrasol, a track called Organizer. Nice bit of gear by all accounts. I'll presume it's... it's remix special. It'll probably be out on... It's out tomorrow. That much I know. Paul will tell us what label it's out on. I'm going to imagine Shogun. That's my guess. Get your bets in now, lads. Yeah, Joe in the chat. See, he's got a lot of plaid shirts. He's got a wizardy beard. He also has an Android. Do you drink craft ale? But you don't vape. Yeah. Yep, certified naughty bit of gear, this one. Alright. Yeah, that's Spectrasol Organizer remix by Circuits, which is Kadzierski and Insideinfo. Speaking of which, let's get him on the horn. Woo! Skype crew inside. Hey! How's it going, mate? You alright?
I'm alright. I'm a bit tired. It's a bit early for me, but I'll let you off.
Oh, thanks, mate. That's very decent of you. Oh, hold on. I've got the wrong picture of you up. That's totally unacceptable. Yay! There you are.
Hey, there we go. There we go.
Wonderful. Yeah, what time do you normally get up?
Well, about this sort of time, actually. Or actually, recently, because I've become a dad, so that's great.
Congratulations.
But obviously, with that comes the early rising, which I was never used to. So, baby normally gets up about sort of 7, I suppose. So, yeah, probably kind of get up about 8-ish. But, you know, it's fine. I've just always been a night owl. I used to roll through until like 3 o'clock in the morning and work and then go to bed. But I've had to adapt a bit recently, which is fine. It's fine. It's just in the morning.
It's fine, okay? Don't push me.
I'm not at peak. I'm still kind of getting there, you know. So I'm sorry. I apologise if I'm a bit slow and sort of generally not funny and horrible this morning.
That's fine. It's okay. 7 o'clock in the morning is actually fairly reasonable for a baby these days. Don't have a chance to get up about 5.
Definitely got. We're lucky there. We are very lucky there for sure. Because I hear horror stories of babies waking up at 4 and 5 and God knows what else. And
yeah, that sounds.
I don't know what I'd do there. I'd probably crumble.
I'm getting a strange lag on the video and stuff since having the Skype on for the broadcast. Give me 1 second. I'm going to turn your video off.
Okay, turn my video off.
Turn your video off. Hold on a second. Where are you? What's that? Oh no, I've just turned my video off. Can you turn yours off?
Hang on a sec. I don't know how you do that. Oh, here we go.
Oh, no. It's okay now. Oh, I think maybe it was an issue of me sending my video to you. Yeah, fine now.
Okay.
Yes! Okay, lobsters. Right. Yeah, I noticed if you move your camera slightly to your left, you had a nice rack of gear.
I've got a nice rack. Yes. Yeah. 1 sec. Let me get the.
Always nice to show your rack on the internet.
Hey, there we go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Is that visible? Is it a bit blurry?
A little bit. Looks sort of smoky and kind of romantic, a bit film noir.
Okay, I'm gonna just.
You could have gubbins all over the front of the camera as a possibility.
Get rid of all the gubbins on the camera. Hang on.
All that jub. Oh, there you go. Oh wow.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's the stuff, isn't it? Oh,
I don't know what that stuff was.
Smoke-free studio, yeah?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I do vape, though.
Vape juice. Well, I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show.
I didn't.
There was a story about a man whose vape exploded in his pocket and has scorched his balls and his leg, nearly taken his balls off.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
there was an insinuation that he might have been mixing up his rig, like getting different parts of different rigs and spicing them together to make some sort of hardcore turbo super vape.
Kind of customizing and... Oh, God, yeah. No, yeah. I've been doing it for a while. I do it's actually my vape. It's completely falling apart. I've had to put it together with tape. It's embarrassing. And
Well, be careful. That doesn't bode well.
It's not good. This is definitely due for an explosion at some point. So I need to sort that out. Actually,
Lead underwear might be an idea.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I do need to sort that out. But I had a battery, and I had that kind of explode, but not. It sort of started giving off smoke while it was in my pocket once. While I was at a gig, actually, I put my hand in my pocket, and I was like, "Fucking hell, what is that?" It was like it burnt my hand, and then it was the battery. So yeah, you've got to be careful, and that's because I had the battery loose in my pocket, and it was like it touched a coin or something, or it did something. So. Yeah, that's.
Or did it touch on next to your Leatherman or something that you had
exactly,
in next to,
yeah,
to your set of Allen keys?
I think, yeah, exactly, yeah. I don't know. It was weird. I got away lightly though, but I did think like. I was like, what if I was on a plane and all of a sudden like that would have happened on a plane? How would I explain that? Like, oh, excuse me, I'm on fire.
They get a bit. You're not allowed to put them in your suitcase, are you? You have to have them in on hand luggage.
You've got to have them on your hand luggage. I think, yeah. You can't put them in your suitcase.
This is good information for any vapists listening.
Yeah, I'm just
any vapors. Public info as well as inside info.
Yeah, there you go.
You got a lot of gubbins up on the wall there as well, Paul. I can see they look like calendars. That looks worryingly organised.
Like it's instruction manuals. Look, it's like kind of. Look, there you go. Can you see that?
Oh, okay, yeah. What, for modules?
Yeah, basically.
Nice.
It's just sort of because it's impossible to, like, some of these things have got so many functions.
Yeah.
My I'm not going to remember that. And instead of just looking on Google every time, I just thought I'd put them on the wall.
Have you got Mutable Instruments braids?
I don't have braids. No, I've got Platts, which is the sort of braids is the oscillator, isn't it? It's the
the digital wavetable oscillator. Someone made a really nice like color PDF sort of lovely design thing explaining all the different wave shapes and what they're based on.
I've got Platts, which is kind of braids, the newer version, and it is really good. It's clear. Although, to be honest with you, I don't use it so much for like synthesis stuff. I tend to use it for just whacking samples through it and kind of going nuts with. Which is always fun. Yeah, just like the filters and the reverbs and things like that. That's what I mainly use it for. Although I do use it a lot for like sometimes just messing around for doing little synth lines. But
noodly jams.
Noodly jams. Yeah, it's a very noodly jam machine.
Yeah,
which is
the Noodle Factory.
Noodle Factory. Yes.
Yeah. So what have you been working on recently? You got this double act boy band with Kadzierski.
We do. Started a new boy band.
Decent.
Yes. That was interesting. Yeah, me and Kadzra. I've known Kaz for quite a while. He signed some of my sort of first attempts at drum and bass like many years back in
really?
Sort of 2008. Yeah, like years ago. And we've always kind of been in touch. We've been mates, and then I did this album for Viper, and then one of the tunes on it, Kaz really liked it. It was I really like this tune. Let's do it. We should do a tune together. So I was like, yeah, man, that's a wicked idea. We've been talking about it for a while. So we did a tune, and then we did another tune, and then we did another tune, and we were like, this works really well. He lives pretty close to me. I was like, why don't we do this as a thing? We'll start a new act with a fresh, clean slate, if you like.
Yeah.
Wipe away all the mistakes of the past.
Oh yeah, all the transgressions and the
exactly. Reborn. So no, we were just like, let's try. We didn't really kind of overthink it. It was just like, let's just see what happens here. It might die within a year. We might not be asked in a year. I don't know. Let's see where we go with it. So
in post-apocalyptic, post-Brexit society, there might be no need for neurofunk. I
don't think there will be, to be honest. I think I think it'll just be put by the wayside, and nobody will be able to travel at that point anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think the import taxes on Neurofunk will probably be quite high.
Massive, mate.
It's predominantly a European export as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We'll have to go back to Jump Up. No one plays Jump Up abroad. It's an exclusively English phenomenon.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, screwed, mate.
Oh, God. Jump Up means jump up.
Absolutely. But yeah, so me and Kaz, we started doing that, and we've got some more tunes out soon. We got a remix out on Wednesday.
I just played that. That's a remix of Spectral Soul.
Oh, you played that? Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
nice boys, aren't they?
Yeah, they're lovely. Although I haven't spoken to them for a long while, but they are lovely guys.
I'm sure they were lovely the last time I saw them.
They're still lovely. Yeah.
Bless them. Handsome as well. Oh, and muscular.
Very,
very. Absolutely. Particularly Dave. Absolutely jacked. I think he's on the steroids. I think.
Properly on it.
I'm not sure. Wow. Oh, no, yeah. He's like, do you know Brock Lesnar from the UFC? Bit like that, but more liquidy.
From is he? What is it even called now? Because when I was younger, it used to be called the WWF. Is it? What is it still? That?
I think it's the WWE, isn't it now?
It's WWE, right?
Yeah, those pandas got had enough of.
Pandas, was it?
Because the World Wildlife Federation, wasn't it? They decided they'd had enough of the wrestling.
Amazing.
Yeah. Weird times. I'm trying. I think the first record of yours that I heard was Skyhook on Breed 12 inches. That's a good record.
Thank you.
I played that at the beginning of the show. It's a fine bit of kit.
That haunts me, that record, actually, because it came out wrong. Like, it actually...
Well, I was going to ask, Yeah,
the version that came out wasn't the version that I did. It was actually a version that Spore had mixed down, because the label were not happy with the mix down.
Yeah.
Which, to be quite honest, looking back, I thought my mix down was a lot better than what the ones they did. But
so did I. I've got an MP3 of it knocking around somewhere that I think you sent me on AIM.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like, and then basically, and at the time they were putting it out, that I was moving house, and I was all over the fucking shop. And sorry, am I not supposed to swear?
I was all over the shop, whatever you want.
Basically, they said I sent them the stems. They did the mix down. They sent it back to me. Was that all right? And I kind of just didn't really listen to it and went, yeah, that's fine, whatever. And then when I listened to it, I'd realised they'd left out loads of the tune. I was like, oh, hang on a minute, that's actually not good. But,
I remember your version being a little bit like I've sort of more compressed. The drums were a little bit lower, perhaps, or something.
Probably.
And
there was like a big sound missing out the middle. Like the mid range was good. But anyway, whatever. I mean, it was years ago in the grand scheme of things. It didn't really matter in the long term. Anybody who said to me, "Oh, what the hell's going on?" I just sent them my version. Was like, there you go. It's a bit. So
it's not worth trying to organise a fight in a pub car park about it, is it?
No, definitely not.
But if it is, do let me know, because I'd be more than happy to referee.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And commentate.
Fine. Absolutely.
So you've been putting stuff out with Viper recently as well. Viper have been putting out some hot bits.
Yeah. So no, I'm actually I did my album with them last year, and then I kind of left, but just not on bad terms. It was all good. It was just purely because I wanted to do some other things, and I wanted to do the circuits thing as well. That was kind of like, I can't really do that if I'm locked in with a contract sort of thing. So now I'm sort of free to do whatever I like, which is fantastic.
Free agent. A Ronin.
What was that?
A Ronin. A samurai without a master.
A wanderer kind of thing.
Yeah, some sort of digital drummer-based nomad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the one. Because we're not analog these days, obviously. So yeah.
No, of course not. I can see analog in the background. Is that a Make Noise DPO?
No,
it's not, is it?
What is analog? I've got
what even is analog?
A filter that's analog. Not much of it is analog. A lot of it is digital.
You've got that Raji sequencer that you have to do everything.
What, the beat step?
No. It's in the middle of your rack, net to the right of the tip top thing.
Wait.
Right in the middle. There. That sequencer. Is that a sequencer?
No, that's a distortion. It's a wave multiplier.
I've got no idea. Is that a bootleg clone or?
So you got it's like a bit crusher and a sort of wave multiplier. It kind of makes things sound really gnarly. It's really good actually, and it's cheap as hell.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I think one of them was about 60 quid.
Really? Right, that's
very good. Very good.
Peanuts for a modular.
Peanuts for a modular, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
God, you'd look at a 60 quid plug-in and be like, I don't know. That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. You look at a 60 quid module and you're like, I don't care what it does. I'm going to buy it.
Just get it. Like, is it shiny? Does it roughly go along with the colour scheme of my modules?
Exactly, yeah, all sorts of things to consider.
That said, if something looks horrible, no matter how good it is, I won't buy it. Like those snazzy FX modules, I don't know if you've ever seen them.
Mate, yeah, they're just,
Looks like someone let like their toddler design the faceplates for them. Like,
there's a lot of modules like that, though, aren't there? Where you look at it and you think, why would you do that? Why would you make that a thing? Why would that be your final design? I don't understand.
So much effort must go into like designing like the hardware for it, and then that's how you serve it up to people.
And then they're like, yeah, let's just
that'll do.
What? Exactly. Yeah. No, Matt. I mean, I've been doing this. I've been kind of actually. This was kind of the inspiration for circuits as well, because I just started getting into it, and when Kaz was coming around, we were using it a lot to do stuff, and I think that's where because he chose the name, that's where he got the name from.
Yeah.
So a lot of the circuit stuff is done using that. I mean, it's not done exclusively with that. I wouldn't want to write a piece of music, although it's possible.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't want to do that. It would be a mess. But a lot of the stuff is done with that, the circuit stuff.
Yeah, I've found doing like, I don't know, a minute or 2 minute long recordings of tweaks.
That's exactly
it's
it.
quite nice. And then chopping them up.
Yeah. I do like 20-minute jams of like random stuff and then pull the best bits out, basically. And it's you always come up with stuff that you wouldn't come up with in a computer. So I think it's got, people say like, oh, but can you do all that stuff in a computer? And to a certain degree you can, but the fact is that I never did. So it's like I never would make that in the computer. So
also, I think that's the wrong angle to come at it. There's no point in buying a module and trying to get it to sound like something in a computer. You want to be using it to get it to sound like modular stuff and apply that to your. It's definitely a context thing.
The context thing, yeah, totally. And I've never really been a sort of purist of like, oh, it's got to sound analog, it's got to sound digital, it's got to sound like this. I've always thought that whole thing was ridiculous. It's a sound at the end of the day. It's whatever it sounds like. If I want stuff to sound kind of interesting and new, not necessarily like a Moog or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this thing's just, I mean, it does all kinds of weird stuff. It's kind of like, it was sort of how I work in the computer by twisting up sounds and doing things, but a lot more hands-on, like just being able to touch things and sort of move things around was
getting something going and then just sort of endlessly tweaking it is tremendously enjoyable.
It is enjoyable. It's quite therapeutic as well.
Definitely.
Had a bit of a bad day, you can turn it on and you'll be like, you get
into that sort of flow state where your mind doesn't think about anything other than exactly what you're doing.
Yeah,
which is a bit
and
of
also
a rare
you're not
thing.
worried about what it looks like on the screen, which is kind of almost a thing where you do subconsciously when you're working inside a computer. You're always aware of what's going on the screen. So with that, I just turn off the screens, and then I'm just purely like, stimulated by the audio, if you like, as opposed to what's on the screen.
I've been thinking about trying to do some sort of interesting drum and bass modular project. As I was using mine predominantly for like house and techno 3 or 4 years ago. I did a load of shows just like improvised, like sort of dreamy.
Did you do like live shows
house.
with it?
Yeah, it was an ordeal, but rewarding when it went well. I had a really strange experience at ADE. We did a show there called Modulism, it was a night I was running in Berlin, and we did a modulism at ADE in a little tiny place called the Winston. I don't know if you've ever played there. They do a night called Cheeky Monday there, drum and bass night.
No.
And it was sort of like, it was about half full of sort of like nerdy looking dudes, which is pretty much what you expect from a modular line.
At a modular synth gig,
yeah. And then I'd forgotten that they'd told me like, oh, we have like there's a pub crawl that goes. This is one of the stops on the pub crawl. We have to let them in, but they'll only be in for about 15 minutes.
Amazing.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then I started playing, and as soon as I started playing, like just this like 30 or 40 really shit-faced girls just came in and sort of stormed the stage, and they're all just like dancing, woohoo! woo! I'm just like tweaking away, to like blip, 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 sort of stuff. And one of them's like, "Oh, have you got Rihanna? Have you got The Weekend?" And I was just like, I was like, yeah, next tune. And they're like, wicked. And then like 15 minutes, it was like half empty again, and just a load of dudes. It's just drinks nodding their heads,
scratching their tunes.
It was bizarre. Like, it was.
Mate, that's amazing.
A unique experience.
A very unique experience, yeah. That is, mate, we've all been there. We've all had those gig experiences. I've had, I remember I did a gig for New Year's Eve years ago, and it was some really sort of dodgy bar down in the mid. I don't know where it was, somewhere in England, and I was like, really getting into it. And then this girl came up to me, "Have you got any Lil Wayne?" And I was like, I think you're at the wrong gig, or maybe I'm at the wrong gig.
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah.
I got into a bit of trouble at a show somewhere in Essex. I can't remember where. Somewhere rough in Essex. It was a Wetherspoons, but a Wetherspoons where you could play music. And
did it have a Function One sound system in it, or was it just a normal Wetherspoons?
No, it was a sort of unique. It wasn't like a normal Wetherspoons. It was a bit more clubby, but I'm pretty sure it was. Well, I don't know. It had a sort of big glass windows. It was rowdy, and I was meant to play like hard dubstep because those were the days. And I got there. The DJ on before was the local DJ, and he was playing R. Kelly, Ignition, and it was going off. And I was like, "This isn't going to go well."
Yeah.
And I managed about 15 minutes of of it until the promoter came up to me, like put my money in my back pocket. It was like, "I think you should probably just go now." Probably best. Like, people were angry. People at the front were really angry.
Oh God.
Yeah. He was like, "We've got bear noise next week. I think I might have to cancel it."
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got the wrong audience here, man. Yeah.
God.
Oh, well, never mind.
You've played out in Eastern Europe a lot, presumably.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Asking everyone for their best or most dangerous Eastern European gig stories.
Okay. Me and Sigma, this was before Sigma had blown up massively, went to a gig in Austria, which isn't sort of super Eastern bloc, but it's still Europe, so that'll do.
That's fine.
And so Sigma played their set, and everyone was on it was great. I then went on. About 20 minutes into my set, the dance floor just started to empty. Like, everyone was just leaving, and I was like, "Oh, obviously I'm not very good." And it just literally was from like the back coming up to the front. Everybody was leaving, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And then all of a sudden my eyes started to like water, and I started to feel really kind of itchy around my sort of nose and face and stuff like that. I was like, "Whoa, what?" And then the bouncer came up to me and was like, "Mate, we've got to evacuate. Somebody's let off some tear gas."
Wow.
Like, okay. So then we left the club, and they were like, "If we give it a couple of hours, we'll be all right." But I was like, "Mate, I'm not waiting a couple of hours. I'm going to my hotel."
I've been tear gassed. I don't think
I've been tear gassed, mate. Yeah.
The game has changed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, oh God, I mean, I've done other shows as well where I've been like, the promoter's given me some dodgy rum, and I've ended up sort of missing my connection back to the airport, getting in some random van, and then throwing up out of it. Which wasn't my best moment, to be honest with you. And then seeing some other DJs at the airport who had played another gig while I was kind of covered in vomit and sort of like, and kind of hid in the toilet just to not have that awkward conversation of, "Oh, how was last night?" Yeah, it's fine.
Smashed it, bro. Yeah.
Smashed it, yeah.
Car journeys are always an entertaining part of...
They are the awkward sort of like, "So... do you use Cubase?" Yeah, that kind of thing. Well, but it's got to be done. You've got to do it.
Always sort of envisioned that I will die at the hands of a drunk promoter that's been up all night and driving me to the airport at high speeds.
Absolutely. I think I remember doing a gig in Russia, and we got in the car with a driver who had, like, he was probably the scariest person I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, literally no hair. And I'm not knocking anybody without hair, but no hair, any kind of hair at all on his face, and just sped through like the town at like 80 miles an hour in a residential. I mean, it was me and Chris Renegade actually. We had to say, "Excuse me, mate. We have people that love us at home. You know, we are loved members of families. Can we please slow it down a bit?" But there you go. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you do kind of put your lives in the hands of all kinds of sort of terrifying potentially terrifying situations.
Yeah.
But I say overall, most people would, you know, sound as.
Oh yeah, definitely. I had a fairly terrifying journey in Russia in St. Petersburg. There was some the club where they do World of Drum and Bass. SS is
but
there.
that's like a really big kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was on a part of the city that is on like a bit of an island or something. So there's a bridge that goes up and down. And once you're on, like if it goes past a certain time, then the bridge doesn't go back down for another few hours.
Okay, right, yeah.
So there was a situation where I had to get the flight really early, and we were waiting for the bridge to come up, and only then had a certain amount of time to actually be able to get to the airport. And the driver took this rather seriously.
Mate, I think I've had a very similar one to this, but go on, carry on. Yeah.
It was like, I don't know if you've ever seen the film Taxi.
I haven't, actually. I can get the idea of what you're about to say.
The opening scene is like, the taxi's sort of all modified. It looks normal, and he flicks some switches, and it sort of lowers, and like a bit of spoiler comes out the back and stuff like that. It was kind of a little bit like that. But then at the end, it stops at the airport, and the guy's just immediately sick into a little sick bag that comes out the back of the seat. And I managed to hold it in until I actually got into the terminal, but then had to go into the toilet and just heave my guts up. It was absolutely pouring torrential rain as well.
Oh,
it was.
Oh God.
I was like, this is it. I'm going to die. This is.
Yeah. I had a similar one in Ukraine. Played in Ukraine. It was cool. And then the next morning, my flight was quite early. It was like a 10 a.m. flight or something. So we got on the motorway to get to the airport, and the motorway was just like, all of a sudden we started to hit traffic. It was like, oh God. And we were running a little bit late. So if we carried on, I would have missed the flight. So, of course, the promoter was like, well, we're going to have to go backwards. So we literally reversed down the motorway while all this speeding traffic was I was like, ah! And then kind of skidded and then sort of went off the side road. But it worked. It's just that, I left part of my soul there that day. I was very terrified.
Ukraine,
it did work.
Ukraine, it's quite popular to have to bribe airport officials to jump the line, because often there's only like one flight a day that goes to places.
Yeah. Oh,
so
have you been there a lot? Have you played there?
I used to play there quite often, yeah.
I've only been there once.
Really good shows though, man. Like really, like amazing sound systems. Just kids, just so up for it, and also really super knowledgeable about, really know their stuff. And just, I mean, it's an amazing place.
Like, I was there. It was a multi-genre night, and they were going off to everything. Like, there was a guy playing house, that worked. The guy played dubstep, that worked. Then someone played everything, and that worked. And I played all my drum and bass, and everyone went home. So that was it. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, they know how to get it done. Bulgaria as well. Like played at Kuz night in Sofia.
I've played at Sofia. Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. Like 6 a.m. they're still moshing.
Yeah, no, they love it out there, man. I've only been there once, I think. I went there. It was last year, and it was amazing. Yeah, really cool place. Very cheap out there as well. Good for holidays, apparently.
Yeah, nice and hot in the summer
out there, and it's quite nice. Yeah.
Great Greco-Roman wrestling scene there as well. I don't know if you're interested.
Wow.
Really, some burly, big-eared boys just in spandex,
really, just going
at it, throwing each other about.
Yeah.
You're never too old to get into it.
No, maybe they should bring that into the gig as well. You know, like you could do a gig.
That'd be nice.
Going on stage.
Yeah.
Have you ever done like gigs where there's been like dancers and stuff on stage and all kinds of sort of random stuff going on?
There was particularly in Eastern Europe and Russia, they've always got some wacky dude with like some sort of light sticks or some sort of day glow nonsense, just like wanging it around. There was I did a gig in, I want to say Bridgeport or Bridge something or other, out west countryside.
Okay.
And there was
in England.
Yeah, in England.
Right. Yeah.
And there was a collection of girls dancers that I can't remember what they were called, but they. There was the
Nani show.
No, because it was around the same time, and it was a sort of like not parody or tribute act, but it was a sort of like a sort of pound shop version. I try not to be too rude, but I'll be honest as well. It was a pound shop Nani Shakers, and they would stand like directly in front of you, completely separating you from your connection with the crowd, totally alienating any girls at the front. And it was just really weird. And there'd just be like some dudes, some pilled up dudes at the front, just like, these girls, and they're just like, and I'm not sure this is adding to the experience.
No.
I mean, I'm sure it's, I guess it's giving people some jobs.
Yeah,
but
it keeps them off the street, or I don't know, whatever. Oh, that's really bad.
Well, maybe they're back on the street now. Maybe it hasn't worked out for them. They're just, living in doorways. Who knows? I hope not. God, I hope not. They probably work in call centres. That's probably what I'll go back to when this whole drum and bass malarkey thing don't work out.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too.
What do you think you'll do when you grow up? What do you want to be?
I don't know. I'm probably going to be one of those sort of. I don't know. I mean,
fireman.
My yeah.
Policeman.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Well,
right.
I wanted to be a chef actually when I was at
Really?
school. Yeah, I did. But then I sort of experienced it a little bit, and I was like, absolutely no way.
It's the most stressful thing you can ever do.
That is the most stressful job, and hats off to people who do that job, because
you have to be a bit mad, like, and
mental, mate, and just be able to take abuse from like every single angle as well, just abuse, like, and I'm not like that. I was reduced to tears like within 10 minutes. So I did want to do that, and then I don't know, mate, when I get older, I'm probably going to be one of those dudes who like is obsessed with his garden, like kind of growing vegetables, because my mum's a lot like that. She's kind of got an allotment, and she's a beekeeper as well. So I'll probably end up falling into something like that when I'm really old, or maybe teaching people like not what to do in the music industry.
Teaching people what not to do is a really underrated, like,
it's an underrated
thing,
topic, isn't it?
It is.
Should be a thing, definitely.
There are so many different things, like not just music, but different things in life where I think a lot of the time it's more important to know what not to do.
Not to do, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
I think for guys that are struggling to get girlfriends, what they need to be told is what particular things not to do.
Not what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think what not to do is a much wider kind of,
Yeah, like be yourself, but don't do these specific things. Like, don't say that. Stop saying that to women. That's why they're all running away.
Work. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think, God, where would you even start with things not to do in the music industry?
Yeah, exactly.
I've found a recent spate. This used to happen on UKF videos back in the day, but it's now a lot of. It's been going on in sort of private messages, getting a lot of private messages from people. When they used to do it in YouTube comments, it used to be like, "Hey, I am just 13-year-old producer.
Oh yeah.
And I have no money for production stuff, so I have no chance to ever make it. Sad. Please help me by checking out my channel."
Yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it, at one point?
These sort of weird kind of begging letters. It was. I didn't really understand it, or whether or not maybe it was like one person did it and then everyone else was just parodying it and sort of memeing it.
I'm 12.
Yes.
Please help me.
I am 12-year-old Ukrainian dubstep producer. All I want to be is famous. That's all I want. Please help me with my dream.
Yeah, I used to get that as well, actually. I mean, I still do a little bit. I get a lot of people sending me music, and that's great, although I don't have a label, and I'm like, this is really good. You
should send this out.
What do you want me to do?
Send it somewhere else.
If anything is really good, I do pass it on to whoever, with a personal recommendation.
Yeah.
So this is cool.
I'm always happy to help with anything that I can actually do. Like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I can't put it out myself or make you famous or whatever. I wouldn't want to promise anyone how. I never. If I did a label, I wouldn't want to sort of promise anyone that this is going to be the best thing ever, and because
Well, yeah. First, you've got to remind everyone that no one buys music anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, or ever really did since Vinyl.
No.
It's like, well, we might be able to get you 15,000 Spotify plays, and then you'll earn 17p.
17 pence. Yeah, exactly.
And maybe one day you'll climb up the ladder to be able to get £100 booking in Essex. You never know.
Of the music career. There you go. So,
It's there needs to be a list of things not to do, and then also a more
what to expect.
What to expect?
Yeah.
Kind of like
what to actually expect. That should definitely be a thing. Because quite often the grass is not always greener on the other side. But quite often it is. Sometimes it's great. It's amazing, and I still do it. I've been doing it a while, and I love it. So I don't know why. Sometimes
it's quite merciless. Sometimes, isn't it?
A real job.
It's cruel mistress.
Yeah, I think I'm at the point now where I probably couldn't get another job because my CV would be like, "What? So what have you been doing for the last sort of 10 years?" Well, not a lot.
Well, I don't know. Like you've
found the wrong way on motorways in Ukraine, I guess.
He would. Where would you go to get? Like, I don't know. Maybe some sort of like music consulting, like picking music. I don't know. It's like, because the thing is, like, ultimately you're creating a product, like, and trying to create as much value for that product as possible but then to go to an area of the industry whereby you're not creating a product, where you're going to be doing something which is sort of
a service almost.
Like a service. Yeah. So I don't know, or teaching, like
teaching, definitely.
Yeah, because
I've done a little bit of that, and I've actually ended up. I find it quite rewarding sometimes because I actually end up learning off the people I'm teaching, which is quite useful. Well, actually, mate, you taught me more than I taught you. So,
you can get stuck in habits, and then when you see someone who's a complete novice who's not constrained by any sort of process, why have you done that? Oh, okay, that makes no sense, but it sounds great. I might try that.
Yeah, I've had that quite a bit actually. People just sort of showing you stuff, and then sometimes I used to do some stuff for computer music, and I used to get people kind of writing to me to sort of give me tips personally as well. You did that.
Unsolicited advice.
Like and doing it. I'm like, oh, right, that's cool, yeah. So then I'd use their tips in the next sort of article and not give them credit. It was great.
Dear Insideinfo, here's some unsolicited advice that you did not ask for, but I'm giving you anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good times.
Here's some fashion tips for you as well, and here's some tips on combing your hair.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's after you've got, how many releases have you had with Kasra now? 2, 3?
So we did an EP, and then we did a single, and then we've got this remix coming out on Wednesday, and then we've got another remix for Matthew's album coming out soon. Not entirely sure when, but it's soon. And then
just make it really quiet. Take one of his tracks, remix it, but all you do is slightly remaster it and just make it really quiet. Loads of dynamics. Really, it's like an old prog rock record.
Yeah, that's because you've got to go in the opposite direction.
Yeah, exactly. You've got no other choice.
Absolutely. But yeah, so that's coming out, and then we're working on an EP at the moment, which we're just in the sort of, we've got like 6 tracks, and we just kind of sort of wing it down and maybe make some more and do some other bits, which we're planning to put out early next year, once it's ready. So yeah, it's just ongoing really. And then we've got some other stuff. We've got a collab with these guys on Critical called QZB, which is coming out on their EP soon as well. I don't know. I think that's coming out probably next month or in a few weeks. So yeah, there's a lot going on with that. And it's great to work with someone sort of half, I've always said when I was started, because originally Insideinfo was 2 people. It was me and my friend Scott.
Right.
Who came last night actually for a cup of tea. That was nice. We're still in touch. He's a good friend, but he wasn't really sort of musically minded, I suppose. And
get rid of him, mate. Dead wood.
With it. Yeah.
That's it. Sack him off.
So basically, I've always enjoyed working with other people. I kind of prefer it to working alone. and always wanted to hook up with someone and do something sort of for, as a thing with someone. So when Kaz came along, it was like, yes, come, please.
Squeezing him tighter and tighter. Paul, let go, Paul. I can't breathe.
Let go, yeah. So yeah, it's nice because we can just bounce on each other and share ideas and stuff, as opposed to just doing it on your own, and you're always stuck in this kind of endless, like, oh, is that good enough?
Oh, mate, tell me about it. This is a thing, like, I don't know, I've been thinking about it a lot for a number of reasons recently. Like, I spend probably 75% of my waking life on my own in a room with no windows. And
mate, this is it. It's not. I don't
think it's healthy.
It's not good for you. It's generally not good for your mental health as well. No. And that's why there's been all this thing come up recently about mental health and everything. Because everyone's been going bonkers for the last 10 years. Making tunes in their room, in dark rooms. It definitely does have an effect on you.
Oh, 100%. For anyone who's listening now, at 7 o'clock tonight on Threshold and on the YouTube stream, me and my pal Akira the Don are going to be trying to tease open this subject, because it's like everyone says we have to talk about it. We have to start opening up the conversation.
There's all these articles at the moment.
We have to talk about this. But all anyone's talking about is the fact that we have to talk about it. No one is talking about, okay, why is this happening? Okay, what are potential coping techniques? Okay, what can you do to mitigate against this sort of thing? Like, why, I mean, it's a complicated situation for a lot of reasons.
There's a lot of factors in it.
Yeah.
Social media is a huge factor in mental health these days. And when sort of people are projecting their successes, etc., constantly online, it actually makes, other people get like, oh, well, I should be doing that, or why am I not like that?
Yeah.
Why is this? Why is that? That affects your mental health for sure. And because
definitely
your kind of the ethos now is project bigger than you are, it does have a knock-on effect to a lot of sort of factors, and then you're stuck in this room all the time making tunes and going out at the weekend and being surrounded by all these people, all this crazy sort of, like, almost the sort of polar opposite of your normal life, and then you're back again stuck in the studio for a week trying to sort of make it can be very very kind of weird and lonely, because I used to work I had a normal job for like 10 years. I worked in an office environment, if you like, and traveled around, and it was a very social kind of thing. I was always around people, always sort of talking to people I a lot of time didn't really like, but I didn't really get on with, but it was still normality.
It was interaction.
Yeah, it was an interaction, and then sort of going to be a producer full time. That's what I missed. I was like, I kind of miss just going out for lunch with someone, or just talking to someone, and having a bit of a laugh, and then of course you sort of make up for that by talking to people on the internet and typing to people, and that's not necessarily a good thing. You need to have like face-to-face interaction with people on the regular, 100%. Otherwise, you go mental. So yeah. Well, I mean, I go out sort of. I tend to wake up and then go out to the shops and do all my sort of chores and try and be normal for a bit, and then lock myself away afterwards. Hang on, there's someone at the door, and I need to get that because it's a delivery. So
all right, I'll hold tight.
Hold tight.
I'll just spit some bars or something while you're gone.
Spit some bars.
Okay, hold tight, the mandem. It's a coffee and means mandem.
Lobsters.
Yeah. All right, well, while Paul's gone, we should get into some sex robot news. So, sex doll firm makes plastic models using pictures of real women without consent. Oh, dear. Oh, he sounds like he's back.
I'm back.
I was just getting into some sex doll news, if you're interested.
Oh, wait. Nice. Oh, I missed that.
Well, there's a company... It's actually from a story, a sort of follow-up to a story that I covered. I don't know how much of Coffee and Memes you've listened to before, but for no good reason, I've got really into following news about sex dolls.
Oh my god.
Well, it's just an endless source of mirth,
Do
really.
you have a sex doll?
I wish. That's the dream. Yeah. My missus says I can't keep it in the house though. I'll have to keep it in the shed, and
Put
then
it in the shed, mate. Put it in. Have you got a studio in your shed, or have you just got a shed?
No, I don't have a shed. Sadly, I've got a studio which is in a different location. It's in a studio block in Bermondsey.
Oh, nice.
I mean, there are a load of empty rooms here though. I could start a sex robot brothel.
You could do. You should do.
They're making good money. This woman up north, she's in the West Midlands. She started up a sex doll company. She's got a string of tanning salons, and she started up a sex doll rental service.
Right, rental.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Can you? Why would you want to rent something that's already been used?
I don't know. It's absurd. But she's gone like, oh, well, it's going to be really good for like companionship, people with mental health problems, people who suffer from anxiety. And it's like, oh, shut up. Come on. You're just trying to, you've seen that you can turn a pound note out of sex dolls. And now you're trying to spin some sort of humanitarian angle on it.
I don't see how a sex doll is going to solve your anxiety problems. It's probably going to make them a lot worse because you'll be sort of like, why am I doing this? Yeah, no, definitely not. And I do hope that if she does do that, they are sterilised thoroughly.
Yeah, God, you would hope so. Well, I mean, maybe you could have. Someone suggested that you could have your own vagina. They'd have replaceable vaginas, and you'd just have your own one, and that you sort of slot in there. So, I mean, you could have it tuned up to all the settings, your personal preferences, that sort of thing.
Definitely.
I don't know how much you've thought about this, but maybe I've thought about it a bit more.
Quite a lot, yeah, absolutely. I've definitely put some thought into
it. They're coming on in leaps and bounds, though. Someone's talking about a sex robot union, and they deserve rights.
They deserve rights?
Apparently, yeah.
Are they robots nowadays?
Yeah. So they can like talk back to you. They've got sort of basic AI functions, and they'll respond to you doing different awful things to them.
Why would you want it to talk back to you? I thought that was the point of a sex doll.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But I mean, I did sort of suggest that perhaps they might like to sort out the human rights issues in the world before worrying about whether or not a sex robot has rights.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're definitely right there. Good Lord. Good Lord.
Good bloody Lord. Right, Paul, I should let you get on with your day before I spoil it with any more dystopian news about sex robots.
Mate, I'm scarred for the rest of my day now. I don't know how I'm going to carry on or thank you. I shall write a song about it instead.
Yeah, do. I think you'd do a good job. You've got quite a sort of sci-fi sound.
Yeah, definitely. Make some squeaking noises and get some. I'm overthinking that already.
Hey, no, look, you could if you go on YouTube, you can find the main one, the sort of like the holy grail of sex robots is one called Harmony, made by a man called Matt McMullen, and there's a mini Vice documentary about it on YouTube. She talks, she says stuff. She says like, "Wow, your mixdowns are so loud."
Oh wow! Look at this. That's owner of Harmony sex doll.
Yep, that snare drum has got so much 200 hertz in it. Oh wow, that is such a turn on. Tell me about your buffer override. Compress my bottom end. Now I send you down a YouTube rabbit hole.
How much are they?
About $8,000.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's probably about roughly what I spent on this thing.
Which would you rather? I mean, it's a different kind of sort of sex you have with your modular and sex you have with your sex doll, but erotic in both ways.
Maybe they could make it so there is a guy actually. This guy called, what's his name? Look, Mum, No Computer.
Oh yeah.
He's amazing, and he sort of made like these kind of modular like faces and things that he does. Maybe we should tell him to do a sex doll.
Yeah, you could probably just like
a TV controlled sex doll.
Yeah, you could just sandwich like a flashlight or something into the rack. You just get a Euro rack fitted flashlight that maybe you could then have some sort of CV inputs to adjust the speed or.
Yeah. On that note, I think we should leave it there.
That's the future that millennials want.
Mate, CV controlled vaginas.
All right, well, that's the name for the podcast.
This went downhill.
Yeah. Do you remember when we were talking about mental health in the music industry?
Yeah, we were serious for like 2 minutes, and yeah,
that was the best bit of the show. The sex robot bit, not the mental health chat. Oh dear. All right. Well, yes, you've got your remix with Kadzierski, aka Circuits, coming out tomorrow. On which label?
It's we've got our own. We kind of got our own imprint for it actually,
All right.
which is just Circuits. So but it's part of Critical.
Okay, cool.
But it's Circ 003 is the catalogue number, I think. So there you go.
All right. Nice.
Good times.
Well, mate, thanks for coming on the show. Very decent of you.
Thank you.
And all the best with your YouTube rabbit hole on Harmony.
Incoming. About 3, mate, if you give me a call about 2 a.m, I'll be there.
I know the missus is away, so
yeah, exactly.
You got a free house.
Oh, God. Oh, dear. Cool.
Right, a pleasure, mate. Take it easy.
Take care.
See you later. Bye. Paul, Inside Info there. A fine gentleman. Oh no, Possey's come back up. Oh Jesus, now we're in trouble. Oh no, the sex dolls are back. Oh, it's all gone wrong. There it is. Thank God. Look, let's play. To play us out, Mr. Inside Info with Metamorphosis. Thank you again to Paul for coming on the show. A fine, upstanding member of the Lobster Society.
Metamorphosis. Genesis. New wave. Silver Surfer. Friday to Sunday. Let the sun dance blinded by sun rays. Too hazy for some better source shade. She can win the gun, put them to shame. Witness the fitness Olympic games. Get the gold, more money, more power. They're still swallowing while we devour. Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. And thank you to everyone that's supporting us on Patreon to help keep this show going, help keep the dream alive. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can get your name on the VIP list and get shouted out at the end of every show. That's Nicholas Goncalves, Tom Ryan, Reece Mosson, Squidgy Beats Parsons, Pauly Hutton, Ciarán R, Michael Kedzierski, Matthew Tomkins, Dave Long, Joel Potter, Colm Murphy, Sam Howard, Tony J, Richard Patterson, Jack Murphy, Tom Camm, Stephen Harris, Mattieu Boulard, Zara Pickles, Jeroen Van Thunderbutt, Mike Pye and Anthony Walker.
Age the third eye.
Like I mentioned earlier, I will be back at 7 p.m, around 7ish, with Akira the Don, and we're going to try and unpick, the riddle of mental health in the music industry and how to mitigate against the negative aspects of the industry. That'll be a better lobster.
Go on, give it up. Let me sing the hook. Don't give
We can do it together.
Run around to brothers out of luck. The struggle
We all just need a little more love, ladies and gentlemen.
bounce. I'm out. What they wanna spray.
That's what Elon said.
Okay, gagging with the mask, killing with the bass. That's a bigger task, force for you to master chef. Can you be the boss of your destiny and master it? Metamorphosis.
Did she just shout out MasterChef?
Metamorphosis. 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 Taste it. So hungry in this mother, I can taste it. So hungry in this mother, I can be the one.
All right. Thank you all for listening, everybody. You are a fine bunch of human beings.
Steady job.
No, that's not right. Come on.
Lobsters.
Lobsters are very inappropriate for trying to smash soundboards with. Anyway, Look, I will see you at 7 p.m. later. And until then, remember, you can get the show on the podcast. You go to any decent podcast app /outlet/retailer and search for Coffee and Memes. And you can also get the Threshold app now as an Android app, and you can listen to Threshold very easily through the app. It'll tell you what song's playing at the time and all manner of goodness. The iPhone app will be ready in a couple of weeks, so that's pretty cool. And it's got a nice little lobster claw as the icon, which is cool. So until later, don't let your memes be dreams. Go out and be good to your fellow lobsters and just try and take care of this crazy flat earth. Someone's got to. All right, lots of love. I'll see you